We're speaking with former Congressman Dave Brat and Ryan Helfenbein, and we have an action plan that involves you. Luke chapter 16, verse 11 says that if you can't be faithful with unrighteous mammon, who's ever going to trust you with true riches? Usually, preachers will take that and say, oh, you got to give money to the church. But there's so much more to money than just the giving. Giving's important. So you can give your money, you can spend your money, and you can invest your money. And so we're going to talk with these two gentlemen about the advisor training program that we're starting. You were telling me a little about Luke chapter 16.
That's right.
Expound on that for us.
Yeah, so one of my favorite economic passages, and by the way, there's tons of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where Jesus uses these parables to instill a teaching. And in Luke chapter 16, and by the way, later you have the prodigal son in the same chapter, but he talks about the dishonest manager. And Jesus actually praises him in his shrewdness and how he handles worldly wealth. He's actually commended for his ability to scheme, which is very interesting. But I think a lot of times what is missed on Christians is this: we have a sacred versus secular dichotomy,
right,
where the only function of income, or a job even for that matter, is utilitarian, that it's just, I'm going to earn money, and then I convert that money into a gift that is a tithe, and then God can use it. That's not the case. God can use all of your money, even as it's used in business and in economics, in order to build his kingdom on earth. Jason and David Benham, I was just talking to them about entrepreneurship. This is the same way. It's the Christian vision shaped largely by the Bible. More specific than a Judeo-Christian worldview, it's a biblical worldview in which we take these principles and we think then, how do we do business? How do we do economics? How do we do investing and trade and all of those things in order to build God's kingdom on this earth?
And that's why it's so important what we did at the China Summit that you held, because you mentioned worldview, and it really does require a worldview. People think, okay, well, I'm going to give properly, and I'm not going to spend money on things that are bad, but their investments might be going to fund communist China and repressing the Uyghur population, or doing organ harvesting, or forced abortion, or all of that, because they've invested in a company that just gets stuffed in their portfolio by Wall Street.
Right. And that takes thinking and sophistication and out of the Judeo-Christian tradition, right? So the New Testament's written. But then we had Magna Carta and the Renaissance and the Reformation and the Westphalia, the nation state emerges, and then our founders emerge. We found Harvard, the Protestants found Yale, Princeton, etc. And so there's a sophisticated system. Adam Smith comes along, sets up free markets. And that's the work of God. And there's not enough attention paid to that providential hand of God that's prepared us to live now in this very sophisticated system that we've built up and that is now under attack. And so I think that's what the economic war room does, is it's saying, hey, we are under attack now. All the foundational pieces that were laid from the church fathers and the creeds all the way through sophisticated modern university systems are under attack. The thrift savings plan, you called attention to that way back when.
Where we were forcing people to invest in China.
Unbelievable.
And we stopped it. The president stopped it, which was great. But you know, capitalism, free market capitalism has brought so many people out of poverty. It's done more for really helping the poor than anything else. The idea that we socialize socialism and we take your money away to give it to the poor, that doesn't help poor people. Free market capitalism helps poor people.
And that's been totally abused, right? So in the last 20 years, the Chinese opened up economically, not politically. And the Indians opened up economically and politically. So you got 2.5 billion people made in the image of God out of poverty because they followed the U.S. cookbook on free markets and pro-business. Now, unfortunately, they didn't follow the rule of law, the Judeo-Christian tradition in China that prizes the identity of every human made in the image of God.